Axie Infinity, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Axie gang, 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 Axie gang. Just spent 50 racks on a big dip. My girl love reading mystics. Come and join us on the Axie ship. You would be crazy to miss it.
What's up, everybody? How are you doing today? Welcome back to Axie School. I'm Chief, and today we're going to talk about the update and how to approach team building. Once I start talking about these cards, I'm going to be talking about chaining. A chain in Axie Infinity, for example, with Mary, if you use Mary and another Axie on your team uses a beast move in the same turn, that would be a chain. Combo is if you use 2 or more cards from the same Axie. First, we're going to take a look at some of the more interesting changes in the last update. So take a look at some of the moves that I thought are going to have a big impact on the meta. So let's start up here with Gecko. Complete rework, totally new direction. This card went from being very underwhelming to pretty overwhelming in my opinion. This may be the best tank tail in the game right now. Think about it. Taking 25% less damage from every attack. Now imagine you're attacked with 5 energy worth of attacks, each attack being over 100 damage. You're getting at least 125 shields worth of defense on top of the 30 defense given by the card. Damn. Super strong. Plus you're hitting them with 100 damage back. Just a very, very nice card. It'll make any brick wall tank a true brick wall. Then let's move over to Mary. Mary's always been one of the top 2 defensive horns statistically, but was never used because having multiple Mary horns on a team makes no sense, as the team's damage output is much too low. Allowing this card to be chained opens up a whole new world of potential and indirectly gives Beast a small buff, which they desperately needed. Because now you can have a tank with Mary, you have your Beast behind it, and when you're using your Beast, you're also pumping up your tank. Arco. Oh my goodness. For all Beast users out there, once this card works correctly, Arco is going to be godly. Think of a situation, or that you've probably had many times with your Beasts, where you're against a bird, you're against an aqua, maybe even a reptile that's faster than you, and you're like, dude, I don't have a chance. There's nothing I can do. Well, Arco is going to give you that outplay potential. If you can brick wall, play your Arco, get the speed boost, in the next turn, in a lot of situations, you're going to be able to go before the enemy, flipping the whole script. Because often, when Axie is high attack, it usually has low HP. So if you hit first, you might just be able to erase that Axie before they have a chance to react. So Arco is something I'm really looking forward to. And now we'll come down to Bamboo Shoot. Similar to Mary, was also the 3rd strongest defensive horn statistically, right behind Mary and Teal Shell. And now again, Axie added the ability to chain with other cards. So you don't need to have 2 or 3 Bamboo Shoots and pray that you draw the bamboo cards. You can now put it in a team with some plant moves, and you can chain it when you choose, and you can hit them with that extra damage. Now Bamboo, if you get the chain, it's like 100 damage with 70 shield. Woo! Sign me up! So those are the changes that I thought really stood out among the rest. So now that we went through the patch notes and we took a look at, some of the things that changed and talked about some of the ways that it can affect the game and how people are going to build teams, let's move right into building teams. First, we're going to take a look at this little infographic that Indes put together, and it's his team building basics. When building a team, you should focus on having the following: variety of class DPSs, energy gain, a hold up or card draw option, or outplay potential. This is a little bit more difficult to build into a team on a budget. Start right at the top. Variety of class DPS. As you can see here in the left, the different types of Axies, and there's 9 different types, have plus and minus bonuses against other types of Axies. So if you're a beast, a bug, or a mech, you're going to do 15% more damage against a reptile, a plant, or a dusk. If you're a reptile, plant, or dusk, you're going to do 15% more damage against an aqua, a bird, or a dawn. And same for the aquas, birds, and dawns. They're going to do the 15% extra damage against beasts, bugs, and mechs. So to use an attack that gets a bonus multiplier to give you more value for the energy you play. Next, we have energy gain. Energy gain is always a very, very important part of the game. A, people are going to be trying to steal your energy a lot. And B, if you do an all-out attack, you want to make sure that you can kill the Axie that you're attacking. You don't want them to survive and have the chance to heal up. Hold up or card draw basically means a hold up card would be like Pumpkin or Red Ear. That's something that can completely brick wall the opponent. So that's always a very nice move to have in your back pocket for mid game when you think they've saved up some energy or you want to just survive. You can play the Pumpkin, the Red Ear. Now Wall Gecko can also help that. Card draw. So throughout the game, you're going to draw 3 cards each turn, and you only gain 2 energy each turn. So in theory, without 0-cost cards, you'll always have enough cards. But there's also 0-cost cards in the game, so sometimes it helps to just, add a little card draw. And then the outplay potential, we're not going to go into that right now because today we're going to be doing a team on a budget. We're going to be doing more of a basic team. I want this for, for new players that don't have a whole lot of money. ETH is booming. It's hard to get a hold of Axies right now, so let's try to give them a little cheat sheet on how to get a nice team together. So now let's talk about what the basic team setup would be. A tank or defender. Main role is to soak up damage. Tends to be a plant or dusk class. Reptiles and aquas both work as well. But plants and dusks have the highest HP, and it's always nice to have a nice fat boy up front. 55 plus health, that can be your goal. And if the tank isn't amazing, at least try to get a strong back move, because for defenders, the back moves are significantly stronger than other moves. Next, you're going to need a damage Axie. On a budget, beasts are great to deal DPS. Look for at least 2 high DPS beast moves. Ideally, you'll be able to add some energy manipulation, including Cottontail, Rice, or Goda. Third, as your back Axie, you want a 1v1 oriented Axie with pretty high health, similar to your tank, but with damage moves. Ideally, a plant reptile with high damage moves is a very, very nice endgame boss to have. With a more flexible budget, some moves like Tiny Turtle or Kataro are great options. Same with Snail Shell or Biden's on the back. Those are some really, really good 1v1 moves. Biden's is great because it costs 0, gives you 50 defense, and you can keep sprinkling it in late game and keep getting value for it. And Snail Shell hits him with the stun, and stuns are always a real nice way to get energy advantage or just throw off your opponent's card order. So these are the basics for team building. Now we're going to hop in and build a team of our own. Do the tank first. So the tank that we chose today is this guy right here. He's got Catfish, Rosebud, Snail Shell, and Tiny Dino. So Catfish, not the strongest tank move. This is clear. But there are a couple advantages. 70 attack on a self-heal move is going to give you much more healing. But the other plus that you get from Catfish is the extra speed. Being an aqua part, you're going to get 3 extra speed on your Axie, meaning you'll probably attack before most tanks, most beefy, slow guys. Tiny Dino, this used to be the best tail in the game, hands down. It got nerfed pretty hard, but it still has 40 defense, which is average for a tail, slightly below average for tank tails. And in the late game, if you do end up getting there, then he can do some pretty nice damage up after round 4. So let's say mid game. Then on the horn, you got Rosebud, 0 and 40. So, 40 is a pretty solid tank horn. Rosebud heals. So there's that, getting 120 HP plus the 40, it's like 160 on the defensive side. And like we talked about in the notes, a good back. And this Axie has Snail Shell, which is still, even though it got nerfed, one of the best backs in the game. It has high defense, and you get the stun. Once your shield cracks, the other Axie is stunned and will miss his next attack, whatever it is. So we're going to put this guy in the front row. And our goal is to keep him alive as long as possible without wasting any energy. So you want to play all his cards if possible, but you don't want to waste them. Play the Snail Shell when they attack with a nice strong attack. You want to play the Rosebud and the Catfish after you've taken some damage to get the life back, to get full value for the card. The Tiny Dino, yeah, it's you feel like you want to save it until after round 4, but he's on your front tank, so use it for the defense. Don't worry about that. This guy's job is to stay alive. Just stay alive as long as possible. Let your other Axies draw their cards, play their utility, play their damage. Now we're going to head over to our midliner. This Axie is very, very important, and you always want to make sure that you can get off his damage. What this midliner brings to the table is Cottontail for energy gain. You can also use it to avoid a stun. For example, if someone hits you with Tiny Turtle or you attack into a snail shell, you can put the Cottontail in the spot so that that's the missed attack, so you don't have to miss one of your other attacks. We got Raven. Raven is an amazing move. It applies Jinx to the target. Jinx means the other Axie that's hit by this attack cannot crit for the next 2 rounds. So if you're playing against a Ronin, if you're playing against the high morale Axie, this can really even the playing field and allow you to do the quick math and know there's not going to be a crit from that Axie. You want to try to use the Nutcrackers together. You get a bonus. The branch charge, sadly, cannot get its combo on this Axie particularly, but it's still 125 with 25 defense, so it's a very, very strong attacking card. If you look at the attack, just base attack for these 3 attacks is well over 300. The fact that this is a beast Axie using beast moves, except for the Jinx, that means you're getting another 15% bonus for each of those beast attacks. Very, very strong midline Axie. Get off a real nice attack, like 2 nuts and a Raven. 3 attacks with this guy will really dominate, as he's a tank killer. So now we're going to move over to Lamb Fam. This 1v1 badass packs a punch while bringing some survivability to the end game. As a high HP plant with the Raven, which doesn't allow your opponent to crit, as we spoke about on the last Axie, it's not easy to kill this guy. You add the Snake Jar to stop the damage from attack, plus Scaly Spoon for some retaliation damage. This guy brings a lot of variety of gameplay to the table. You have a lot of decisions you can make. You have a lot of ways to outplay your opponent, get positive energy trade. In the next turn, you can bring the pain. You really want a strong, self-sufficient endgame Axie. He's not perfectly sufficient because he doesn't have a zero-cost move or any kind of energy manipulation, but that's why this team is going to be used. You're going to have to play a little bit passive in the early game, try to get to the late game with some stocked energy, and then this guy can just unload. So we got our team set up. Now I'm going to explain to you why I have them set up like I do. So I put the tank in the front, obviously, because we want him to get attacked first and take the brunt of the damage. After that, I got my midliner and then my endgame Axie. The reason they're both on the top is I want all of my damage to be attacking the same opponent Axie. I could also do this, and it would be the same thing. It doesn't really matter. If your opponent does this setup, and you have this setup as well, your top guy is going to attack his top guy, and your bottom guy is going to attack his bottom guy in the mid game. It becomes very random and very hard to predict. So I try to keep it like this, so I always know I'm attacking that guy together. So now let's hop in the arena and see how this team does.